करता हूं। धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय श्री घनश्याम तिवारी जी। इस परिचर्चा यानी वर्किंग ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट, फॉरेस्ट एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज में भाग लेने के लिए जिन माननीय सदस्यों ने नाम दिए हैं, मैं उन नामों को पुकारता हूं। माननीय श्री नीरज डांगी जी। माननीय श्री नीरज डांगी उपस्थित नहीं। माननीय श्रीमान साकेत गोखले। माननीय श्री साकेत गोखले नॉट प्रेजेंट। माननीय श्री अयोध्या रामी रेड्डी आला प्रेजेंट।
धन्यवाद डिप्टी चेयरमैन सर। I'm very happy to be here speaking on this important subject. देश भारत हमारे लिए नेचर, एनवायरमेंट भगवान है हमारे लिए। ये ऐसा परंपरा से ये देश सदियों से आते प्रैक्टिस करते हुए जा रहा है। आज की स्थिति में when we talk on this department sir, we have to see past, present and future. For future, from today onwards to the future, I think our Prime Minister has put a clear goal for our nation. By 2047, we have to be a Viksit Bharat, developed nation. If we have to achieve those goals, थोड़ा हमको सोचना चाहिए कि पीछे हम कैसे थे, आज कैसा आया है. Under this department, I see when the Honorable Minister Bhupendra Yadav ji, I have seen him, when he talks, दिल से बोलता है कि ये सेम कंसर्न है, ये देश सिर्फ not for only people but also पशु पक्षादि, वो नेचर जो है, वो जैसा जो आदमी वो दिल में ऐसा है वैसा आदमी मंत्री है ये देश का. I can see that what he talks is coming out of his heart. So today clear goals are kept for this department under his leadership, as I understand. So past ka issues when I see, sir, if we have to achieve our Viksit Bharat goals, certainly Ministry of Environment, Forest, it should shift its mandate from isolated pollution control or conservation efforts or clearance granting to integrated environmental protection and sustainable economic enablement. This is very important if we have to be a Viksit Bharat. But sir, in the past, if you see, we were just 176th out of 180 countries in AIL Environmental Performance Index. We were 177th in air quality, 172nd in projected emissions, and 171 in ecosystem vitality. Only in climate change policy, we have performed a bit better, which came into effect, only after the Modi government came into functioning from 2014. But we are performing little better on that, but that is also due to massive focus on renewable energy. But sir, the present system needs minimum $160 billion per year in additional climate change mitigation investments to achieve our stated goals for sustainability. Current investment flows cover roughly $1/4 of $10 trillion that is needed by 2070, but actually we are, I think our country is preponing these goals to 2050, which means we have to bring in more money. The estimates shows that environmental degradation cost for India is around 5.7% of our annual GDP, exceeding 15 lakh crore at current economic size. This is not a future risk, sir, it is a present burden. Sir, with 18% of world's population but only 4% usable fresh water, the Niti Aayog projecting a water crisis affecting 60 crore people that could cost 6% GDP by 2050. So, which means we have to be very clear, water security is inseparable from environmental governance. We must really put in a best effort on this. Sir, the strategic opportunity around environment. Environment as an engine of Viksit Bharat. We have to consider this around that. The green economy can unlock 1.1 trillion US dollar annual market valuable by 2047. It generates 48 million full-time equivalent jobs and attract 4 trillion US dollar in cumulative investments. The research shows that this is the possibility of green economy. Green sectors can abate approximately 2.3 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide annually, roughly 77.6% of India's total carbon emissions as of 2024. Sir, India achieved 50% non-fossil fuel installed electricity capacity by mid-2025. I must compliment this government. This is 5 years ahead of its Paris Agreement NDC target of 2030. Sir, at Viksit Bharat's vision of a 30-40 trillion economy at 7 to 10% annual growth will be fundamentally undermined without a parallel environmental transformation. Achieving developed nation status requires decoupling economic growth from environmental degradation. These are not competing objectives, they are inseparable, sir. So, sir, I think we have a very clear opportunity around environment, which we have to take it very seriously as of today, making the foundation for future. Sir, to achieve this future focus, the ministry, I see, and my party see that we have some structural deficits. That is the reason we really have to relook why we have to restructure ourselves. This is an imperative, sir. We have no option. Sir, MoEF budget allocation for 26-27 is 4,413 crore rupees, less than 0.1% of the union budget. For a ministry tasked with India's air, water, biodiversity, forest, climate change and waste management, this is very small, sir, very minuscule actually. We need to really look at this. So we need to bring this structural change around the investment. Also the knowledge and the skills that this department has to possess. Certainly a detailed strategy, again 25 साल का future का देखते हुए हमको strategy बनाना पड़ेगा. For that, one of the implementing agency of ministry is CPCB. When I see Central Pollution Control Board, it has approximately 500 full-time employees for a nation of 1.4 billion people, sir. Comparable agencies in developed nations have minimum 10 to 30 times this capacity relative to the population. Sir, I think this is very important. CPCB need to be strengthened a lot. The ministry was last conceptually restructured in 2014 when climate change was added to its name. But no comprehensive strategic review of its mandate, structure or capabilities has been conducted. But this also need to be completely relooked. The ministry operates in thematic silos, sir. Forests versus wildlife versus pollution versus climate change. Rather than thorough functional convergence, it lacks dedicated verticals of circular economy, just transition, climate finance, critical minerals, or environmental technologies and sustainable solutions. So, because of all these things, the ministry needs a structural transformation and restructuring. Then I also want to say, sir, there are some bottlenecks. Federal bottleneck, that is, if I see strong laws and weak implementation. India possesses one of the most comprehensive environmental legislative frameworks in the developing world. EPA 1986, Air Act 1981, Water Act 1974, NGT, Biodiversity Act, Forest Conservation Act, and extensive EPR and waste management rules. Sir, we are very good on laws. Yet enforcement is characterized by a dual structure paradox. Policy is driven centrally, but enforcement is state-led. State pollution controls handle thousands of industrial consents, but are plagued by acute technical manpower shortage, legacy technology, political economy pressures, and varying fiscal capacity. Sir, this is where actually I was working closely with state boards and central board and also ministry. When I look at Government of India really wants to do, but there is a pressure in the state where states are not getting ready to really take this as a mission. And for that actually we really need to ensure that the implementation programs must be made mandatory with the money that is going to flow from Government of India. If you don't link these programs with those deliverables, it is going to be very difficult, sir. An environmental policy is only as effective as its enforcement at the municipal and state level, especially municipalities, sir. Lot of air pollution, solid waste management, water, wastewater problems, they're all, at municipal levels, our system is not effective. Even though we have strong laws, there is a will and wish to make them happen from the top. At the lowest level, we are facing very difficult. Sir, out of 130 NCAP cities in India, only 23 have achieved 40% particulate matter reduction target by 2024. 55 achieved 20%, and almost 11,200 crores allocated by the ministry has yet to, it's yet to be, spent, and their outcomes are not comfortable. So, sir, then the circular economy and informal sector imperative is what need of the hour. India must transition decisively from a linear take, make, dispose model to circular economy. India's urban mining potential is valued at 14 lakh crore by 2030, sir. E-waste grows at 21% annually. Plastic waste stands at 3.5 million tons per annum. A huge opportunity around circular economy in most of these areas. While EPR framework exists for plastics, e-waste, batteries and tires, the ecosystem for tracing, verifying and recycling waste relies heavily on an informal sector that remains largely unregulated. India's waste recycling informal economy employs an estimated 4 million people. Formalizing these networks into a scaled and systematic eco-parks industrial setting is critical to moving from paper compliance to physical compliance. So for that, sir, a dedicated national authority for circular economy and resource recovery must be established. Sir, I have some core recommendations to the ministry. The first point, sir, a comprehensive strategic review. Sir, हमारे देश में हर जगह, जैसा हम बोला, compared to most of the countries in the world, we are blessed. ये भगवान हमारे साथ है. Nature, इसीलिए हम nature को भगवान बोल के मानते हैं. तो इसीलिए सर एक्चुअली हमको एक comprehensive strategic review होना चाहिए कि हमारा देश का जो 5 elements जो हम भगवान मानते हैं उसको कैसा, how to protect all these 5 elements. For that we must commission a formal time-bound, maximum I say 12-month, independent strategic review of Ministry of Environmental Science, Climate Change, covering mandate, structure, capabilities and programs with very clear deliverables. ये 5 साल में हम क्या करेंगे, हम कितना किया है, वो उसके लिए एक ऐसा comprehensive strategy होना चाहिए कि it's a must, sir. Recast the mandate. Shift the MoEF&CC from a purely regulatory and clearance granting body to an economic enablement and resource security body. The mandate must explicitly include driving the circular economy. Sir, the entire governmental environmental architecture must need a change. We must establish a National Environmental Coordination Council chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister or the Cabinet Secretary, with a representation from Ministries of Power, Agriculture, Urban Affairs, Commerce and Industry, Finance, Rural and Environment Department is a must, sir. We need to bring in structural reorganization. We are working in unsiloing, so that moving from thematic silos, forest versus wildlife versus pollution versus climate change, to functional convergence is must, sir. For that, National Authority for Circular Economy and Resource Recovery, a division of climate finance and a dedicated chief technology office must be developed within the ministry. Sir, radical capacity expansion we must bring in. Raise MoEF budget to 0.5% of union budget by 2030. Sir, I wanted to tell, we have a polluter pay principle. So, raising this sort of a budget is very easy. Any polluter must pay, and people willing to pay for a better environment. So, ministry should take into consideration, especially the finance ministry must come out, work closely with the environment ministry to see that how this sort of a budget is provided for, not from their cash flows. They have to, this department itself can provide for that. Expand central pollution control fivefold, sir. Fivefold. Bring in subject matter specialists globally. So this is one thing, sir, we must bring in. Every state, every city, every river, every forest, we have to make some model projects which are going to give a direction, not alone to the sector, but also to the country, for others to emulate and follow those models must be brought in, and this has to have a very, very aggressive approach. For that, create a national environmental service cadre of specialized professionals and specialized coordinators, and stakeholders must be brought in. So then we also have to see how to bridge the federal government enforcement gap. While we say that state is not doing, cities are not doing, no, but we must work on this. Establish center-state environmental compact with minimum capability standards, direct funding, training, and audit mechanism for all state pollution control boards. We must create a national environmental performance dashboard with state-wise rankings. Sir, national digital environmental infrastructure. Deploy artificial intelligence and satellite-enabled real-time monitoring, a unified blockchain-enabled digital compliance platform connecting Central Pollution Control Board, all state pollution control board, National Green Tribunal, NGOs, and all the users, automated complaints verification among all the stakeholders, drone-based monitoring, and citizen-facing environmental services must be brought in. Also, sir, we have to build market-based mechanism capabilities. We have to ensure that deep financial and economic capabilities are built within Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change. They have to manage domestic carbon markets, green taxonomy, sovereign green bonds, and their deployments, and also the green credit program at scale. They must work closely with the finance ministry to ensure that the market-based mechanism and capabilities must be brought in under this. National Green Economy Mission, to capture the $1.1 trillion economy opportunity, we must educate and we must support every person and the business houses and the government itself to see that a circular economy at scale, bioeconomy and nature-based solutions at scale, green hydrogen and sustainable agriculture and green finance ecosystem development must be encouraged and put in with a clear strategy and deliverable. We have to formalize the informal waste economy. Sir, this is another very, very important. Ministry must bring in one particular agency to work with. We have to create a dedicated policy to integrate, regulate and industrialize the estimated 4 million informal waste workers into the formal EPR and circular economy architecture. Then, sir, National Environmental Literacy Mission. We have to start from our schools and at home, that how to integrate environmental science into education at all levels. We must train 2-3 million environmental professionals by 2035. We must expand mission life through citizen engagement, leveraging digital public infrastructure. Sir, finally, this is my 12th suggestion, sir. We must bring in a cultural transformation. We have to bring in from policing to partnering transformation with the people. We must instill a culture where compliance is automated and frictionless for public, the local bodies, industries, who are all acting in good faith. transition the bureaucratic mindset from policing to partnering for sustainable industrial and urban design must be brought in. We must establish an independent environmental performance commission for credible, non-partisan accountability. Sir, finally, if we don't act fast, sir, I tell you, we are going to lose heavily. We have to keep note that without transforming Ministry of Environment Forest to be ready for next 25 years, we have to and if we have to become a $30-40 trillion economy, if we don't transform ourselves, we'll have to we will have unbreathable air, we'll have undrinkable water, and we'll have irreversible biodiversity loss. Sir, we must focus on transforming, and we cannot afford to give this to our children. India's position in global environmental ranking also, we will lose out. Sovereign ESG ratings, foreign investment attractiveness, and also international credibility we lose if we don't gear up to face the future challenges. Sir, this is not merely an environmental issue. It's a national security issue, an economic competitiveness issue, and a generational justice issue. The restructuring of MoEF&CC is a necessary precondition for the Viksit Bharat vision. Sir, finally, I wanted to tell you, we are at a place where we have one of the best government, the best leadership, and clear deliverables. The way we need to implement, we need to strategize, we need to structure, keeping in mind what our elders have preached us, told us. Om Namah Shivaya. The Om, it is the power that gives to us while preaching, praying for the nature. Na means in Sanskrit, as you all know, Sanskrit mein, Na means Bhumi hai. Ma means Pani hai. She means fire hai. Va means Vayu hai. Ya means a Brahmand hai. So, Om Namah Shivaya. See, if we have to preach and we have to practice, I think these changes that we need to bring in is very imperative. And I really want to thank you and the House for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. माननीय श्री सुभाष